Well, the bribe and Biden allegations are heating up again today as further information has come to light. Fox News Digital is reporting that Joe Biden was paid $5 million by Ukrainian natural gas company Burisma Holdings while he was the vice president. All week, there has been headlines surrounding whether or not Joe Biden accepted a bribe from a foreign national in exchange for government policy decisions when he worked under the Obama administration. Senator Chuck Grassley and Congressman James Comer were told by a whistleblower that the FBI have in their possession a document that proved Joe Biden was involved in a criminal scheme. There wasn't proper confirmation over which foreign country this could be in relation to. However, Burisma Holdings is the same company that Hunter Biden sat on the board of from 2014 to 2019. He was reportedly paid $1 million a year and, according to invoices from his laptop, was paid over $83,000 a month to sit on the board. However, from May 2017, after Joe Biden was no longer the vice president, Hunter Biden's monthly invoices from Burisma were reduced to $41,000. This document, which is called an FBI-generated FD 1023 form, came to be after a confidential human source gave information to the FBI about it in June 2020. According to Fox News, who have spoken to a source familiar with the document, the FBI's informant had multiple meetings with the top Burisma executive for years from 2015. The Burisma executive was keen on gaining US oil rights and getting involved with a US oil company and wanted to know how best to do it. The article reads, the Burisma executive explained to the confidential source that Burisma had to pay the Bidens because Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin was investigating Burisma and explained how difficult it would be to enter the US market in the midst of that investigation. This Burisma executive allegedly told the confidential source that he had to pay both Joe Biden and Hunter Biden $5 million each as some kind of retainer to deal with a number of issues, including the investigation led by Shokin. The sources also claimed that these $5 million payments to both Bidens were done through various bank accounts so that investigators would not be able to unravel this for at least 10 years. So what does Joe Biden think of all these accusations floating about?
Congresswoman Nancy Mace says there's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
it's a bunch of malarkey.
Mr. President.
This all comes back to the fact that James Comer had issued a subpoena to the FBI to hand over the alleged document, which he has now reviewed himself after the Bureau allowed him and Democratic ranking member Jamie Raskin to see it in a closed meeting. There had been back and forth over whether this document even existed, but the FBI have said its existence is not disproven and that it has been used in an ongoing investigation. The FBI have also been attempting to protect their informant's safety, who is considered a highly credible and trusted source for over 10 years. The Bureau refused to hand over the physical copy to the House Oversight Committee to review for themselves. This prompted James Comer to threaten initiating contempt proceedings against FBI Director Christopher Wray for failing to hand over the document so all members of the committee could see it. That's despite the fact that Comer and Raskin were allowed, just the two of them, to see it in the closed meeting. Comer has now scrapped plans to hold Mr. Wray in contempt after the FBI said the Bureau would allow all members of the House Oversight Committee to review the document, which, according to CNN, will begin today. South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace has now reviewed the document and said it was worse than has been reported so far. She told Fox News Digital that it showed damning evidence the sitting president of the United States sold out his country in an ongoing bribery scheme. Now, earlier in the week, it was just James Comer and Jamie Raskin who had seen the FD 1023 document, but they both came out of the meeting with separate stories about what it revealed. Because Democratic ranking member Jamie Raskin said there was an assessment into this document at the time alleging a crime by Joe Biden, but there wasn't any evidence necessary to require further probing. The statement read, in August 2020, that assessment was closed after a determination was made that there was no more investigative steps to be taken and the evidence collected did not meet FBI's standards for an opening of a preliminary or full-scale investigation, namely that the assessment had not developed an articulable factual basis to reasonably indicate a crime may have occurred. The FBI read an excerpt from the memorandum closing this assessment, which was signed off on by Mr. Brady and high-ranking officials in the Trump Justice Department. But Bill Barr, who was the Attorney General at the time and was named by Jamie Raskin in his statement, has poked holes in the congressman's recollection of events. He has claimed that Jamie Raskin is confused. The case was not closed. The assessment of evidence was sent off to Delaware to be further investigated. Bill Barr said at the time this was considered more of a screening of information, which resulted in the development of this controversial FD 1023 form. This information, which was provided by the confidential human source, was checked out and determined it was not likely to have been disinformation, and so it was then handed off to the ongoing investigation into the Biden family, which has been operating out of Delaware since 2018. So why now, in 2023, are we hearing about this FD 1023 form if it's apparently being used in an ongoing federal investigation? Nearly 5 years later, there's no public updates on the FBI probe.
Now, I understand a lot of Republicans are very frustrated because that investigation in Delaware has been going on for 4.5 years. It was going on for 2 years under me, and now another 2.5 years. And, you know, a lot of damage is being done to the country and to the department because of the silence and the failure to reach a decision. I think it's time to fish or cut bait and find out what actually happened in that investigation.
With speculation floating about that Joe Biden was involved in a criminal bribery scheme with Ukraine, it does cast further doubt over his narrative that he has never spoken to his son Hunter about his business deals. But nearly 5 years into the investigation into the Biden family, there seems to be no outcome so far. Joe Biden, however, claims that he has never influenced the decisions of the Department of Justice.
You notice I have never once, not one single time, suggested to the Justice Department what they should do or not do relative to bringing a charge or not bringing a charge. I'm honest.